Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode we will be discussing a problem light that I had that came on a 2001 Audi Quattro. The problem was I had to do some research and I found these good fellas, A4 Mods, and they had some real good information. And I basically just followed along what they were saying because I ran it through my code reader and I was getting pretty much the same thing. And it was the EPC light indicator apparently happened because of the crankshaft position sensor. So I went and got the crankshaft position sensor, which wasn't very expensive. And I basically, this is the video of me switching it out, showing you everything that you needed to know about the tricks or the tips or whatever to get it in and out real fast. It was an easy job. What the car was actually doing was I would drive, I'd be on the highway, and maybe about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes in, it would actually cut off. But because it was a manual, sometimes I could just throw it in first and it would stay going. But that was a real problem, you know what I'm saying? So it happened twice. EPC came on, and that's when I'm going through the process here now, showing you exactly what I did to get it in and out. So I just clipped off the hose. I took the radiator reservoir out. I clipped off the hose with some vice grips, wiggled it out. It's 3 bolts, 3 screws up was on the top part. I took those off. There is a sensor for the radiator reservoir underneath. You pull that off and push the hose over to the side. And basically, I left the other hose attached because, I mean, it wasn't going to really hurt anything. This job really didn't take that long. Like I say, make sure you subscribe and comment below if you had any other techniques or methods to do this better. The crankshaft position sensor was the gray one on the left, pointing to it. I followed the wire back down. I just followed it all the way back down, and it's the actual sensor, getting it out of this clip was a little tricky. So I took some long needle noses and I just kind of wiggled it out a little bit. With a little careful wiggling, it came right on out. Then, like I say, I just followed the wire all the way down, and it's like the other side goes to like behind the oil filter. So now you don't have to change the oil filter. You can probably just fit your hand underneath there and get it back there. But I couldn't really fit my hand back there good, and it was time to change the oil anyway. So I changed my oil, took the oil filter off, and that way I had a little more access to reach in there and get this. So like I say, though, the reason I'm doing these videos is to show you that you could fix up certain cars, fix up certain items, and make yourself more money, save money, and therefore you could invest the savings or the difference. So I was just showing you. This is the new one, brand new. I think I got it off Amazon. Yeah, I got this off Amazon. It was like $30. So you can see that's where the brand new one, the clips and how it kind of fits in there, snug. So, you know, these old plastic parts, they get snug. That's why I had to use the needle nose. And the nice new sensor tip with the O-ring on it. And then I popped this thing on in here. It didn't take long. It was a 10 millimeter. You need a 10 millimeter. I believe you could use a hex head on the inside of it, but 10 millimeter was easier. Like I said, I'm zeroing in right here to show you exactly where it is back behind that oil filter. Mine was so covered up with oil. That's why I'm really showing you where it was. Because once I put the new one on, it was all crystal clear and nice and bright. But then at the very end, once I did everything, I wiped all this oil up that I had problems with. This is probably part of what was the failure anyway. It was all this oil that was everywhere. This is an older car. I believe this car had 200,000 miles on it. So right here you can see I changed the oil filter and I put the new crankshaft position sensor in. Actually getting the old one out, the one thing I had to take a little prior and kind of pry the seal. I believe was like just, it was sealed in there. So I just broke the seal and it popped right out. New one, I put it in, made sure it was really in there firm, tightened it up good. Then I put everything back together and I started up the car. And the only other sensor now that is showing is I need washer fluid. And as you can see, this is an older car, so the dashboard is kind of dying out, but it still works and there's no EPC light on. 217,000 miles on this car. So after I got all the light off, checked with the codes, no codes, I cleaned it up and I pretty much got it ready to sell. I listed it, I believe, yeah, I listed it that same day right then. And it sold in a couple of days. It was a pretty good running car. It seemed like it may have needed a muffler patched up. Maybe a hole was in the muffler. But I just told the customer who was buying it about that part. They didn't mind. They knew, it's an older car. They knew that they could do the little things like that they needed to. Overall, it was a pretty clean car. It ran very good outside of that and it had small blemishes on the body, no rust, but just like patchwork, body work a little bit, but still was overall a decent car. And if anybody really wanted to take that to the next level, they could, if it was worth it for them. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to tune back in because there will be many more videos like this, other ones about mindset and money and how to basically, if you make more money, you can invest more money. And that's the method that I'm trying to tell you. All right. Enjoy the day and have a good one.